I'm Dan Hardy, UFC fighter and lifelong thrill seeker. I've traveled the world with MMA. I love my sport, I live for my sport. Now I'm in Poland, traveling around a country obsessed with mixed martial arts. A nation with a history of fortitude, power, and strength. Training with the best, learning from the best. Meeting the fighters set to take the UFC by storm, and revealing a country that is a true home of mixed martial arts.
Siadaj, jedziemy!
I've heard a lot about Polish mixed martial arts. In the last 10 years, the sport has swept the nation. I'm touring Poland to see how fans and fighters are preparing for UFC Fight Night Krakow on April 11th. To kick off, I'm heading 3 hours west of Warsaw to a rural town where tonight the local gym is hosting Slugfest, a classic lower-tier mixed martial arts event. This seems very much like an old grassroots show that I used to go to. It's about 1,000 people here. It seems good, man. It seems very well organised. I saw the ambulance outside. That's always a good sign. So, yeah, I'm excited to see what the stand of the fights are like. Thanks, sir. Great to meet you. It's got my shirt on. How cool is that? Came all the way here. I've got some supporters. I like that. Thank you, my friend. Really good. I can feel it as I watch the fighters walk out. I know what they're going through. I know how they're feeling, and it's that moment where every cell in your body starts to switch on and starts to fire because the adrenaline's going. There's no feeling like it. This is a really well-organised show. I mean, they've got commentators, they've got a live screen feed going on. If you were to go to a town of this kind of size in the UK, you wouldn't expect, well, you wouldn't expect a pub to be open after about 9 o'clock at night, I don't think. So, let alone an event like this. Oh, body kick, beautiful, wow. That was very Jan Blachowicz, wasn't it? I always found myself so much more nervous for these type of events because my goal was always to get to the UFC. It was kind of weird, my UFC debut at 89, it was the first fight I'd not really had any nerves for because I'd almost achieved what I'd set out to do. Like both of these guys, I'm sure, are dreaming of fighting in the UFC one day. And one of them tonight will be a step closer and the other one will be a step further away. Since becoming a UFC commentator, I can't seem to go anywhere without being handed a microphone.
Then it's a pleasure to have you here. We are very glad. So give us please your thoughts about tonight's event.
I think the fights have been very good. They've been very competitive, good exchanges on the ground, good striking. I'm very impressed with the event. It's been very organised and you've been very welcoming. Thank you.
Okay, so what's now?
Now is the time for the main event. Thank you. That was crazy. I mean, we drove out 3 hours from Warsaw into a village of a population of 7,000 people, and there were 1,000 people in the sports hall watching up-and-coming MMA fighters. You know, some of them having their debuts, some amateurs, and some pros that are looking to go on to bigger things like the UFC. It's just amazing. I just wouldn't expect something so big and so well organised to be in such a small village. It's a great start to the trip. I mean, what a perfect place. We see the grassroots level, and then we're going to go on to see during the rest of the week how the country's preparing for the UFC for the big show in April. It's going to be a great week. I'm excited for it. Time to hit the road and see how the athletes are preparing for UFC Fight Night Krakow. Earlier on in my career, when I was looking for places to go and travel, America was the obvious choice and all the big gyms were there, all the big fighters were there. Poland was never even on my radar. I would have never ever thought to come and train here. Warsaw, the nation's capital. I'm heading to one of the best-known MMA gyms, the S4 Fight Club. It boasts a number of UFC fighters, but I'm keen to see how debutant strawweight Izabela Badorek is preparing for UFC Fight Night Krakow. I've never heard of this gym before, which is strange because it seems like they've got about 20 fighters out of here, which is, I mean, that's a big fight team. I'm excited to see Isabella, and this is really where I get to learn about fighters. I can learn about records and names and stuff, but I want to see what their fighting skills are like. There's no better way to understand a fighter than to get on the mat with them. It's a real chance to see what Isabella's working on. I was watching Isabella warm up, and one thing that I noticed immediately from doing yoga a lot is her flexibility. She has unusual flexibility for a fighter. She's got quite a well-balanced skill set. She's obviously a good wrestler, and kickboxing, I mean, she's trying spinning kicks and all kinds of stuff. So. This is another thing about women's MMA, is that because there are so few women to train with, we see a lot of female MMA fighters training with guys, which obviously helps with their strength. I mean, like, from my experience, when I've trained with bigger guys, I always found that when I went back to my weight class, it was much easier to move people around. Here she's working an opponent rushing and trying to land some shots on her and covering up and looking for the opportunity to level change. Her opponent will step in, and then she'll try and level change and catch them at the right time. Good drive on that takedown. She seems to have all areas covered, which again is quite unusual for women's MMA. I think she's going to be a great addition to the strawweight division. What do you think it will do for Polish MMA to have the UFC come to Krakow and do a big show? Do you think it will help the sport grow in this country?
Tak, myślę, że to rzuci nowe światło na walki. Stanie się to bardziej popularne. Jest już dość popularne, ale myślę, że to będzie nasz taki główny sport. Nie piłka nożna, tylko MMA.
So when you first got that call from your manager or promoter to tell you that you were going to be fighting on the UFC, how did that feel?
Byłam szczęśliwa, ale nie docierało to do mnie. Na początku myślałam, że sobie ze mnie jaja robi. No ale pokazał mi potem kontrakt, uwierzyłam. I stało się. Na razie myślę o tej walce, żeby jak najlepiej się pokazać.
And do you feel nervous for the fight?
Nie, bardziej mnie wywiady stresują niż sama walka.
Yeah.
Lubię walczyć.
In the last 400 years, Poland has fought for freedom over 40 times. This history of combat has made them into hardened fighters, chiseled from centuries of conflict. And I've heard that there's one thing I have to try my hand at to truly understand their fighting spirit. So I've been told to come to this sports facility in the middle of Warsaw. I'm meeting some guys here and I don't really know what I'm doing, but I've been told that they're the best people to speak to about combat and the history of Poland. Whoa. I'm Dan. Nice to meet you, Dan.
I'm Chris. Nice
Wow.
to meet you.
What is this? Is this like is it like a reenactment?
It's a bit like reenactment, but what we are doing, it's really about fight.
And you use real weapons. These are real metal weapons.
Yeah, it's real weapon.
It's gotta hurt, right?
Yeah, you will see.
I am from Nottingham, though, and we do have a castle in Nottingham, so I feel like I might be quite good at this. There are so many dreams coming true for me right now. Always wanted to dress up as a knight. This is very cool.
How you feel?
I'm surprised how well it moves. I was expecting it to be so much more cumbersome and heavy and stiff. I don't want to do anything until I've seen a demonstration of this thing, because I've seen the dents in this guy's armor, so I need to see what's going to go on first. So can I get a demonstration from these guys?
Yeah, sure. Okay. Guys, fight!
Oh! Right glove. I'm a little anxious, I'll be honest, because these guys are not pulling any punches. They're hitting each other full power. and I've never had to wear a suit of armor for anything before, so that should be interesting. It feels heavy, it's hot. I can't imagine being on a battlefield with one of these, that's for sure. It must be exhausting.
You're ready?
I think so, about as ready as I'm gonna be. I think I'm done. Coming up, I'm hitting the road to meet Poland's co-main event fighter and huge UFC prospect, Jan Błachowicz. When he throws his right hand, I can feel it through the mats. I'll be spending some time with the new strawweight UFC champion, Joanna Jędrzejczyk. I think we're really lucky in Europe to have a champion as good as her. And I'll see how Krakow is preparing for the arrival of the UFC. This place is going to erupt. It's going to be amazing. I'm in Poland, discovering a nation fast becoming obsessed with mixed martial arts ahead of the UFC Fight Night in Krakow on April 11th. I'm travelling west to Poznan to see our local favourite Jan Błachowicz is preparing for his fight against the UK's Jimmy Manuwa. He made a stunning debut in the UFC last year with a devastating body kick on Sweden's Ilir Latifi. This guy is a serious talent to watch in a packed light heavyweight division. But I've also heard he fancies himself as a bit of a survival expert too. Do you find this helps you relax when you're in training camp?
Yeah, exactly. When I finish my training, I don't want to think about MMA.
Yeah.
Because I'm gonna be crazy.
Are you left-handed?
I'm use both hands.
Do you fight from both sides as well? That's useful.
It's normal for me.
Yeah. All the best fighters do that now, I think.
Oh, thanks. So I'm one of the best.
You're one of the best, of course. So what's your game plan for the fight?
My game plan? Every fight starts in stand-up.
Yes.
So I start fighting in stand-up. We will see what's happening.
I like that. I like that.
But I've got something prepared for him.
Yeah.
But I'm not telling you.
No,
that.
no, of course. So do you get nervous before fights? Do you
No,
get anxious?
not anymore.
You're very calm?
Yeah, it's normal for me. I like to do this. I like hit. I like take punches, like hit punches. So
Yes. And then afterwards you just take a break?
2 weeks, I'm gonna do nothing, just drinking beer, eat not healthy food, maybe McDonald's.
Yeah. Why do you not have a nickname?
Nobody give it to me.
I think you should be the Iron Bear.
Iron Bear?
That's a good name.
Iron Bear?
You look kind of like a bear.
It's sounds good. Bear.
Knives?
Knives, okay. You have to try.
I'll try. I'll try.
Simple.
Not bad.
Not bad. Headshot.
Game over. Well, I think we're officially knife throwing and bow experts.
I agree with you.
But really, I want to see what your skills are like on the mat. So I think we should head
Much
to the
better
gym.
than this.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Well,
for
mine
sure.
are no better than this. So to the gym?
To the gym.
Cool. Thank you, my
Everyone
friend.
waiting for you.
Everyone's
over
waiting.
there. They make list who fights you first.
Oh, that doesn't sound good. That sounds like a long night for me. Ankos Gym. I've heard a lot about this place. Some of the toughest fighters in Polish MMA train here, and they've asked me to get involved. This is my kind of gym, you know? Not a place where you're afraid to sweat a little bit. It's like a workspace. Wrestling mats, one punch bag, beautiful. It's got that real good gym smell as well, you know? Like the mats have not been cleaned in 10 years. You can see Jan over the back working on some techniques. It's a very, very, very technical session. Breaking down techniques, focusing on combinations, and then working on them over and over again and perfecting it. And he's switching his stance, which I've not seen him do before. It's really exciting, because I think the next evolution of mixed martial arts is people being able to fight from both stances. When he throws his right hand, I can feel it through the mats. It's quite fitting that it says legendary Polish power across the back of his shirt as well. It's nice to see Marcin Bandel here joining in as well. From what I understand, he just travels around all the gyms and gets as much knowledge and information as he can. his submission skills are amazing. About 90 seconds is his average for a fight. He loves an ankle lock. If you like your knees, don't fight this guy. How are you feeling? You good?
Yeah, very good.
Are all these guys bigger than you? They're heavier?
Yeah, but I like training.
Yeah.
Because when I grab somebody in my division, I don't feel his power.
What do you think the crowd's going to be like in Krakow for the fight?
I hope so. It will be loud.
Yeah?
Of course, when I win.
Of course when you win, of course. This place is stacked with some serious grappling talent, and apparently they all want to pop at me. I'm preparing myself for a long, hard session on the mats.
Pierwsze 20 minut, około 20 minut będziemy robić zapasy, wrestling, nie?
First 20 minutes wrestling. And after this 20 minutes of wrestling, we're gonna have 5 or 6 grappling.
Yep. I'm gonna jump in and roll around for a few rounds, but it looks like a shark tank in here. I think I'm gonna have a rough night.
Trener, spelaj.
Getting smashed.
The first one is European champion in grappling.
Oh, that makes me feel a little better. It's very good.
Marcin Bandelis, brown jiu-jitsu belt. Yeah.
That's as hard as any mat in the world I've ever been on. Seriously. And I mean, some of these guys are European champions and BJJ champions and MMA champions, and they just fly under the radar. We don't hear about them in Europe or anything. And one submission after another. I mean, they just pressure. And they never leave you in a comfortable position. There's no point where you can just stop and just, breathe, because they constantly attack. So you're always having to think and react. You can see why these guys are improving as fast as they are. It's been a real honor for me to come and train with you. I've learned a lot, and I want to come back here again someday, and I really wish you luck in the fight. I'm looking forward to it.
It will be a pleasure for us to have you here.
Thank you. I need to go home and train harder first, though.
Okay.
Thank you. Coming out here and working with these guys and getting beaten up and schooled by guys that I'd never even heard of before, it's been a huge motivator to get back in the gym and get back to where I feel physically at my best. With the UFC offering me the job, as a commentator, I'm right octagon side, watching these fighters go through all these emotions. And obviously, it's nice to be able to hang out fight week and meet fans and not worry about weight cutting and somebody trying to punch me in the face at the end of the week. But at the same time, I like that single-mindedness, that focus that you get. And I can see it on the faces of all these fighters. There is a focus, there is a drive to be amazing at one particular thing. And my thing was martial arts. And I lost the reason to be pushing myself. I miss being that person. I miss being that winner. This really is a beautiful country, but of all the places we've been this week, Krakow is by far the most picturesque. These buildings and the castle and the churches, they're amazing. It's really exciting to think the UFC are going to be here. When I first signed with the UFC, it was very much a US-based promotion. And it's exciting to be a part of this transition into Europe, to bring the UFC to places like this. It's become apparent to me that this is a real spiritual home for MMA. And it deserves its place on the calendar, especially now they've got a Polish champion.
She's got rocked.
Poland's Joanna Jędrzejczyk stunned the UFC in March with a dominant victory over Carla Esparza.
Jędrzejczyk is the new UFC Women's Strawweight Champion.
So what's it like to have the belt? I mean, you must have thought about it so many times when you were in training camp.
It's something amazing, It's like Olympic medal, gold Olympic medal. And I wrote some history for Polish fighters, for European fighters, and for strawweight division in the world.
Tell me about the face-off.
Yeah.
Why that?
Yeah, like everyone is asking. I don't like trash talk, but I know I cannot show to my opponents that I'm afraid.
Yeah.
I like to look into the eyes, and then I feel like, okay, you cannot play with me. We're gonna play my game tomorrow. I can fight with you even now, you know. And then I can feel if my opponent is afraid or not. And
Okay.
then I knew it that I'm gonna win. And that's why I'm doing this, you know. Yeah.
To make them look into your eyes.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, I like that.
I like it.
I like that. I think we're going to head to the arena now. You're going to show us around and...
Yeah.
Time to check out the Tower Run Arena. On April 11th, this place will be packed with UFC fans.
Wow.
Who better to give me a tour than the champ herself?
It's me. I've got belt, but I still doing my job.
So this is one of the changing rooms they'll be in for fight night.
Yep.
Mats on the floor, TV on with the fights on. So when you get into the change rooms and you sit down and you know your fight's getting closer and you know that the fight before you has just gone out.
So then I'm in hurry and I want to warm up, you know, do some pets, just I want to feel it, you know. But my trainer is like, take it easy. So then I'm trying to relax, and yeah.
So obviously, you know, you're the new champion now, and everybody wants to talk to you. Everyone wants to meet you. So I want to see how the fans interact with you and how excited they are. What does it mean to have a Polish champion?
Well, you know, it's amazing because we've been huge fans of UFC for a long time, and I would say it's something else. You know, it's like Joe Rogan says all the time, at UFC, it's the best of the best. So, you know.
I mean, I've watched her do media work today and meeting fans, and she's doing a great job, you know, especially because most of the interviews that she's doing are in English. It's her second language, and she's nailing it. I think we're really lucky in Europe to have a champion as good as her. I've been invited to a motocross event at the arena to get a taste of the atmosphere. And it seems like they're already gearing up for UFC Fight Night. Wow, look at that. That's amazing. That's how you sell tickets for an event. You know what? I've been completely immersed in Polish mixed martial arts this week. I've completely forgot about the main event. Krakow Gonzaga, what a rematch. That looks awesome. This could be a great event. When the UFC comes here on April 11th, this is set to be the perfect venue for a memorable fight night. You imagine what it's going to feel like in here when Jan Blachowicz walks out. Legendary Polish power. This place is going to erupt. This is going to be awesome on fight night. I can't wait. What an amazing end to the week. It's been a fantastic time traveling around this beautiful country and learning about a mixed martial arts community that I didn't really know existed before this. I've met people from all the way down at the grassroots events, all the way up to Joanna Jędrzejczyk, the UFC strawweight champion. On April 11th, here at the Tower Run Arena in Krakow, I guarantee from my experiences this week that Poland is going to announce itself as a major player in the UFC. Okay, whenever you're ready. Perfect. One more. Headshot.